while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and step over there and shut the blind and see if maybe that helps with the glare of my glasses. Hang on. Bed. Bed. Hey, Bree, how are you? Hey, Mom. Sorry about that, guys. I was trying to get the glare off my glasses, but it didn't work that well. I'm trying to turn. I have 3 little dogs. Well, they're not little. I have 3 dogs in here tonight that are acting like children. So hopefully it'll be okay. It's still that one. I hope that doesn't bother you guys as much as it does me. Tired from canning meat. What kind of meat are you canning, Bree? I need to do some. I need to really get on it. Ugh. I need to make that ham and bean soup using the ham bone from Christmas. I have some beef I could can, and I definitely need to can some more beans because I only have like 3 jars of black beans left. Sausage and chicken. So, do you make your sausage and then can it, or do you buy it and then can it? Having canned chicken, any canned meat is great to have on hand. I use it a lot in the summer. Turnip greens today. Ah, yes. Yes. I was just looking at seeds for all different types of greens. I was watching somebody else. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep moving around for a little bit and try to somewhat get out of that light. It's a cathedral ceiling in here with track lighting, so it makes it hard. You make it yourself. That's awesome. Pork sausage. I'll usually get ground, I don't grind it myself. I'll get ground pork and season it. But see, it's been a while. It's been a long time since I've canned sausage. But yeah, I was just looking at seeds for collard greens, turnip greens, mustard greens. Trying to think. Yeah, I wanted to do that last year. I don't know what happened. We're still working through that side of beef, but I just, I didn't get it ordered in time. So we still had a lot of beef, venison, and chicken taking up freezer space. And so I really didn't have probably enough freezer space for a pig. But I love having fresh pork. It's the best. I was getting ready to tell you guys something. Yeah. Well, how long does it last you with just the 2 of you? I need to get my mom to buy a bigger freezer, and so she can get a side of beef. But I'm trying to think. It was last fall that we got that side of beef. It was November. So it's been 14 months. A couple of years. Yeah, it's been 14 months for us. And I want to say I have 15 or 20 pounds of ground beef left. I'm out of steaks. I have a couple roasts left, and that's it. Yeah, 50 pounds. I canned some in the summer, and we just went through it, and I just haven't done it since. I really need to get on my canning game. I still have a lot canned, but the things that I'm running out of um, to can, I have the stuff here. I have the food, the dry beans and the beef and the chicken and turkey and all that. I just have not gotten to it. So that's just me. I don't know why. I really honestly don't know why. Well, I take that back. Um, I had a bunch canned. I felt confident about it. February, I had surgery. April, I fell down the stairs. Then I had the garden. Then I went to mom and dad's. So it's about time I get back to it. You know, saying that you're using chicken from 2021. I have some corn and some peas that I canned, and I think they're from 2021. Yeah. And I had a jar sitting on the counter, and Dean saw it and he goes, "Oh my gosh, that's from you canned that before we moved?" And I was like, "Yes." And I said, "It's fine." And he had me take it out to the chickens. So, but the chickens were fine and they smelled fine. And and I'm like, it can last because he sees on the box where it says 18 to 24 months. And I'm like, that, I don't know why they do that, but I was like, it can last years and years and years. Mom says, I almost bought a new freezer 2 or 3 years ago. I remember, but your dad thought we didn't need it. It was an upright. Mom, that is the same kind that I have, and it is awesome. And don't listen to dad about it because he doesn't do any of that part of it. He just eats it. So, um, if you get him to go in, if you guys get a side of beef and then he's getting steaks and he's getting tenderloin for like, $5 a pound, he's going to be super happy. And you're not going to be needing to run to the store every 2 weeks. And you can fill your freezer with other stuff. It's really smart. We've talked about it, but you need just to go ahead and do it and have it delivered and, whatever. Um, yeah, the tomatoes from 2019, I'm sure they were still good. I mean, it can last years. I've heard of where people have purchased homes, older homes, and maybe it was like from an estate and there's still some things in the house. And sometimes it's canned goods and it'll be like from 10 years and it's still good. So as long as that seal hasn't popped, and I do look for on the bottom of the lid to see how it looks too. But you know, we traded in our box for the upright freeze. Wait, we traded in our box for the upright before we bought the cow. Yeah, I have an upright, and Dean just at first he couldn't believe I was getting the largest size they had, and he was like, "This thing's huge." Um, and so we put it in the shop, and I said, "Look, you're gonna be shocked when we put a half beef in there. We put, venison in there, chicken and pork." I said, "It's gonna fill up really fast, and I don't want to have a freezer that um, I can't fit everything in." So plus, I'm like, think about when I make a head, I make bread, I make rolls and stuff like that, and I'll take them down there too. Corn on the cob, all that kind of stuff. Ugh, don't you hate that, Brie, when you have a lid fail? It's what kind of lids do you excuse me, do you use? I mean, I used to have lid fails from time to time, and then when I switched to the Superb lids, not that often. I like them. They're pretty good. I've had it maybe happen, I want to say maybe once, but it does happen. I've had happen one time getting a jar out of the canner and the bottom fell out. That, stunk. And then one time I made mustard, stone ground mustard, and I don't know what happened. The jar just burst and I had mustard everywhere in that canner, in the water. It was such a pain. But I need to make more mustard too. I don't eat a lot of mustard, but Dean loves it. And so I make stone ground mustard. And then I'll usually make like 8 jars at a time, not big jars, like jelly jars. And, just can them, have them in the pantry for him. But I took a closer look today, talking about food. I took a closer look, not today, the other day, of the new food pyramid. And I was just so frustrated because I was happy about it. And it's like, okay, now this makes sense. But I was frustrated because I'm thinking, okay, I try not to be like a conspiracy theorist. I really do. But I'm thinking, why, if you knew that these other things were bad for you, why did you initially tell us that that's what we're supposed to do? And there's a lot of people in this world that take doctors and the USDA as gospel. And I'm just like, I think back to like our grandparents, my grandparents, and stuff like that. And, they had to be resourceful for themselves. My grandparents were products of the Great Depression. And, they had to be resourceful or they just wouldn't eat. My grandmother's family was very lucky because my great grandfather worked on the railroad. And so he had a job, but my grandfather's father, my great grandfather, he had a farm. So it hit them a little differently. But anyway, so I was just like, yeah, this makes sense that, you have fewer grains, more protein, more healthy fats, and people have gotten so scared from using things like bacon grease and lard because they were told it's going to clog your arteries and all this kind of stuff. And, you didn't, excuse me, hang on. Stop it. Go to bed. Go to bed. Stop it. Go to bed. All of you. Leave her alone. Golly. I am really sorry about that. The dogs hear the cat in the bedroom and they've been kind of wild about it. But anyway, oh my gosh. Oh, so they've kind of, the government and stuff like that has kind of steered. I'm putting them outside. Thought you could behave. Like I said, children never fails. So yeah, they've scared people from using these things, but your body does need some cholesterol. It does, it's been proven that anything, not, you can't eat a ton of something, but they were like this stuff. They're like, oh, it's better for you and less fat. And yeah, it's got saturated fat in it. And people don't realize that even having it once a week, by the time you've been eating like that for 10 years, that stuff really builds up. Let's see, Bree. 4 jars. 4 jars sent you to the emergency room. Oh my gosh. It was a ball lid that failed. They're a lot thinner. They're a lot thinner. I love the Superb lids because they're so thick and they have that wide, thick seal on them. I won't use 4 jars for the simple fact they're made in China. It's just me. That's all I can say. You had 5 4-jar lids actually buckle, and one exploded and sent you to the emergency room with burns. Oh dear God! You know those pressure canners taking stuff out. It's hot. They are hot. I let mine sit and sit and sit. But if you're on a canning spree, I know what you mean. As soon as it goes down and everything drops down, I'll open the canner when I'm on a canning marathon and take it out. But otherwise, if I'm just, canning some beans or whatever, I will let it sit for quite some time. Did you have any scarring from those burns? You've been canning for 25 years and never happened with any other brand. That burn took 2 weeks to heal. Let me tell you, we were living in Charlottesville. My parents were visiting for Easter, and I was making sweet tea on the stove. True Southern girl here. And it was the sugar water, and I hadn't put the tea bag in yet. And I picked up the pot to take it over the sink to pour it into the pitcher. And I don't know, when I reached across, that steam hit, and then I ended up dropping the whole pot of sugar water, and I screamed. My dad came running in there. He probably saved me from going to the emergency room, put my arm under cold water, and it was horrible. It was horrible. I had from my wrist all the way down to my elbow, and I just kept stuff on it and gauze, and I couldn't even lay in bed with it. I had to have it hanging over on the side of the bed. And mom told me, she's like, well, maybe you need to go to the doctor. And I was like, no, it's starting to heal up, but it took several weeks. It did. I hate burns. They scare me, number one, and they're extremely painful. No, mom, the dogs didn't hear anything outside. The cat is in the bedroom, and from time to time, she likes to torment them. So that's why a lot of times in the evening, when we're getting ready to bring them in, we will put her in the bedroom and shut the door. But she will get to the door and she will put her little paw underneath of it and shake the door. Or she'll sit by it and she will whine. And even though, we place stuff in there when we're going to put her in there, and they go crazy if they hear her because, they're just protective that way. But it's just kind of been like that today. Oh my God, it hit your husband who is 6 feet away. Oh my gosh. I don't know what Dean would do. Um, it was soup. Oof. That is awful. That is awful. And no, mom, if the dogs had heard something outside, they would have taken out of here like a bullet. That's usually what they do. But I was trying to bring them in because Dean was in the shop, and I didn't want him to have to stop what he's doing because he's working on the doors, making the doors for the loft upstairs for the eaves. And I didn't want to have to stop him. So I was bringing him in a little bit early, and they're just still too wound up. We had to do errands today. It has been a day. I got up. We left 45 minutes later. We had to do errands. I got back, and then I had to finish cleaning out the oven, which is a dreaded task. And my back is sore, so I took a muscle relaxer from doing that. So anyway, the dogs have been inside while we were gone, and we were gone for about 4 hours. So they were ready to bolt out when we got home. We fed them. They ran around, and so then I tried to get them in right before I went live. So children, they are just like children. Oh my gosh, burned your face, neck, and arms. Oh, Bree, how awful. You're lucky you didn't get cut with, a jar.